Rene Lemarck was a sickly child, born in Brittany in the year 1781 of a consumptive mother. But what he lacked in physical strength he made up for in brains, so that by the time he was 17, his medical career had begun, and he was assistant to his uncle, a physician of the city of Nantes. But the good doctor of Nantes saw that his nephew was destined for greater things than were offering in the provinces. So on a certain day in 1800, he came to a decision.
Well now, Rene, my boy, have you seen enough of ailing peasants and gouty townsfolk for today?
Me? I never tire of them, sir. I would like to work 20 hours a day if I could.
I know, and I've been watching. Rene, if ever a man was born to be a physician, that man is you. And, well?
What, Uncle?
How would you like to go to Paris?
To Paris? For a holiday?
No, my boy, not for a holiday. To live there and study medicine.
To live in Paris and study medicine? But, Uncle, you don't mean it. Where would the money come from?
Oh, you leave that to me. Have you ever heard of Corvisart?
Dr. Corvisart of the College of Medicine? Why, yes, of course. There's not a doctor in France who hasn't.
All right. Don't get excited. I studied with Corvisart, and although he has become a great physician while I am but a country practitioner, we are still friends. All arrangements have been made. You are to go to Paris next month and study under him, and I know that neither he nor I will be disappointed in you.
My dear uncle, if I live to be 1,000, I'll never be able to thank you enough. Never. To study with Corvisart. I don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything, my boy. Just take a word of advice instead. Do not let your enthusiasm wear you out. I want you to look after your own health as much as the health of your patients. Remember?
Yes, Uncle. I remember.
And so Rene Lemarck became a physician at the Paris College of Medicine, specializing in ailments of the heart and chest. By 1816, he was already a man of note, whose opinions were looked up to by all of his profession. But none realized the shortcomings and limitations of 19th century medicine better than he. Of our modern age to diagnosis, he had none. And many a patient went untreated and uncured, simply because the doctors could not decide what was wrong. This was particularly true of chest complaints. And it was after a disheartening day at the Necker Hospital that Lemarck went to his old mentor, Corvisart, to discuss a revolutionary theory that had occurred to him.
I am becoming more and more convinced every day, sir, if medical science is to advance a step from its present state, we must improve on our methods of diagnosis.
On my soul, my dear Lemarck, I have no quarrel with you there.
Take a patient I had today. He was 65 years old and complained of pains in the chest. Now, I ask you, how many diseases are covered by that one symptom? He had pains in the chest. And what else could he tell me? Could I examine his lungs? Could I see with my eyes the state of his heart? Could I watch the valves open and shut as his blood flowed through them? No.
It's a state of affairs we always have to contend with, my dear fellow. It's my belief that we always will have to. So there's no use upsetting yourself.
That old man will die. When he is dead, I can cut him open and say, Dr. Lemarck, this patient of yours suffered from this or from that or from the other disease, but he will have to die first. What sort of medicine do you call that?
Me, I shrug. We do our best. We study, we watch, we learn. We are not sorcerers to see inside a man's body, are we now? We cannot see through skin and bone.
But we can do something else.
Huh? What? What do you mean? Look here, Lemarck, you're leading up to something. What is it?
Simply this. I believe that in many diseases, the whole story, the whole condition of the patient could be learnt from the heart.
If you could see it, yes.
No, if you could hear the beat clearly. Now, with children or thin people, I've already heard the peculiar murmur of a diseased heart. But with most patients, through the tissue, I cannot hear enough. Dr. Corvisart, we must find an instrument to enable us to listen to the human heart.
That was Dr. Lemarck's problem. But 3 years went by before he found his solution, and then it was purely by luck. He had been called to the bedside of a patient who had suffered a heart attack, a woman, and as luck would have it, one of the fattest women he had ever seen. He made his customary examination, but when he wished to go further...
What you suggest is an outrage, monsieur. An outrage.
My good man, I am a doctor, a physician, and I am concerned only with curing madame.
I don't care. I don't see what you want to do that for.
Then, although your wife may be dying, I shall take the time to explain. The heart, my good man, is a pump with valves like any other pump. Your wife has a diseased heart, but to say exactly what is wrong, I must hear it work. I must hear the beating of your wife's heart. How can I hear her heart with anything but my ears? Now get out of my way, unless you would rather call another doctor.
Sacre coeur, I only
Be quiet. I'm listening.
What do you hear?
Quiet. Ah, the same old story. It's useless.
What is useless, monsieur?
I can hear nothing.
But you had your ear on the chest of madame.
And between my ear and madame's heart there is what? Observe, monsieur. Your wife, would you call her slim? Eh? Between my ear and her heart are layers of skin, of fat, of flesh, of muscle, bone, and lung tissue. I cannot tell what ails your wife's heart, so I cannot say what her treatment should be. In such a case as this, it is hopeless. If only I had some kind of an instrument.
Lady Luck showed Lemarck his instrument as he stepped into his carriage to drive back to Necker Hospital. He was in a bad temper. He hated to admit failure, particularly in his own province of the heart and the chest.
Coachman, whip up your horses. I haven't all day to waste here.
Well, certainly, monsieur. To the hospital.
Of course, to the hospital. If it's not too much to ask, pray, what do you find so amusing? Have my clothes on back to front? Eh?
Oh, indeed no, monsieur, indeed no. It is not you I laugh at.
Then who is it?
The children, monsieur. The children in the street there. Did you not see them playing? And such a game. To be a child once more.
Must have been a curious game. What was it?
Oh, a game they made up themselves. Consider, monsieur. They had a plank of wood, perhaps 3, perhaps 4 meters long. At one end, some nails. At the other, the children stood listening. Their ears clapped firmly to the wood. Such a game. Those little ones.
What actually did they do?
While one child plucked at the nails, the others listened at the plank's other end. What one child did, all the others could hear.
So, the child plucked nails at one end, and it was audible at the other. So... Coachman, stop! Turn about quickly, man, turn about! Drive me back to those children at once, I say at once!
Remembering a simple principle of physics taught to him by Corvisart, Rene Lemarck had seen from the children's game how he might make his instrument and listen to the human heart, and to test it he took the old doctor with him, back to the house of the stout woman with heart trouble.
Monsieur, this is Dr. Corvisart from the College of Medicine. We wish to examine your wife once more.
But you said you could do no more, doctor.
That was 4 hours ago, and since then I have made what I believe is a great discovery. You see this paper tube, my friend? This tube of tightly rolled paper? Come, I'll show you. Observe, Dr. Corvisart. I place this tube firmly over the patient's heart, with one end pressed to the skin. At the other I place my ear, so.
But for the life of me, Lemarck, I cannot see...
If you please, sir. It works! I can hear perfectly. It works!
In the name of heaven, let me try. Quickly.
Here, press firmly and place the other end well within the ear. Yes, that's right. Can you hear it?
Yes. Yes, I hear it. Every muscular movement of the heart. Lemarck, it is amazing, amazing, and so simple. My dear fellow, I congratulate you. Injuries that have been inaudible for centuries have now found a voice.
Oh, don't congratulate me, sir. It was none of my doing.
What? Nonsense. If not you, then who have we to thank?
Some children who were playing with a wooden plank when I happened to pass by. They are the ones who discovered my instrument.
Rene Lemarck had discovered the stethoscope, and although his tightly rolled tube of paper was the instrument in its crudest form, and very soon to be improved upon, Immediate auscultation, the great aid to physical diagnosis, had come into being. In the few remaining years of his life, this frail little Frenchman made other discoveries and found time to compile a valuable treatise on the heart and its action. He was also the first to describe the minute bodies that cause consumption, and by the irony of fate, this was the disease that took his life in 1826. But he is not forgotten. In the pocket or round the neck of almost every doctor in the world you will find the stethoscope, the invaluable instrument discovered by Rene Lemarck, not by experiment or intent, but by just a matter of luck.
This story was an excerpt from the original broadcast series titled A Matter of Luck, and it was made available to us through the courtesy of Radio Echoes. I sure hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, God bless.